Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Moetivation. Last week we got really emotional with Fems, and it's really interesting to understand how difficult it is for someone to get over their childhood trauma but still pick herself up, come into the public light and look out there with a smile on her face and make each and every one of us smile. Fems, last week was interesting and we ended off the show talking about how to learn to love ourselves.
Yeah.
You spoke about the turning point where it was where your friend accepted you for who you were and the individual that you were. And that kind of gave you this thing inside to say, I am enough and I am able to love myself. I always believe, it's not scientifically proven and this is my own theory, but for the first 30 odd years of your life, your brain absorbs everything.
Really?
And then after that, kind of just spits everything out at you and says, listen, deal with it. I grew up as the skinny little kid who always had these body issues from a different perspective.
Okay.
And I was this emotional kid who would cry for every little thing.
Yeah.
So when I went through my first trauma of my parents getting divorced, it almost made me say, you know what? You need to build this exterior. You need to put on this hard exterior so nobody ever sees who the internal Mo is. So what I did was I got into the gym and I started putting on this exterior, putting on muscles and putting on a mask. These masks that I carried it with me through the world. Mo was created.
Yeah.
Muhammad was lost.
Wow.
And Muhammad was lost in this little body inside and this big exterior came and Mo was born. And I loved it because attention started coming to Mo and attention started coming to that person that I was, and I forgot who Muhammad was until one day my brain decided to open up and spit everything out at me and told me, don't
when
forget.
you turn 30.
Well, just past 30. And it just said, you know what, Muhammad? You cannot forget who you were. Is Fems your mask? And is she hiding Fehmida?
No. I'll tell you why. Because I think Fems only came afterwards. Like Fems came after I'd worked on who I was. But Fems for me has never been I mean, we all are who we are inside. Like how we say, I'm not going to sit in, like I'm not going to make an emotional breakdown an opportunity to take a video. I'm going to go through my emotional breakdown as it goes. I mean, you can show everybody everything of your life, but it's not that I'm deliberately not showing it. It's because I'm actually physically going through it.
Yes.
And I can't be going, okay, wait, I need to prioritize that I take a video of me physically going through this thing.
How are you going to heal it?
All of my life in any case. But the reality is that any social media profile is what? It's one split second of your life. You can't, I mean, unless this is some movie where somebody's literally paying attention to your life all the time, they can't actually see it. So it is, but it isn't. Like Fems is a snippet of my life.
Yes.
As real as it can be, as how it goes. And that's how it is. But it's also just a snippet.
Yes.
I obviously have breakdowns. I mean, I have kids. I have, we go through temper tantrums. I come from a family who had a very, very bad tempers. And I think one of the things I always saw, like my dad's family, they would be like, they'd always like screaming, swearing, they always have a bad temper. And the hard thing is, like you said, there's something inside you that still has that inherent thing. So yes, I have outbursts, but then I need to stop myself because I'm like, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that family that screams and shouts. And I still have those moments and I feel bad because I'm like, I don't want my kids to like hear me like having these anger outbursts. And it's difficult. It's always you're always fighting the parts of yourself that you need to fix. But you're not just fixing it. You want to fix them and fight them. You
can't do that,
It's difficult because you have to fix them.
Yes.
But also, like a lot of people say, it's all about time, right? And I know people say it's about prioritizing. Yes, okay, fine. It is about prioritizing. But the reality of life as a mother, as a wife, as a business person, it is about time.
Yes.
I don't always have the time to prioritize, okay, I need to go for therapy because I need to go, and I need to go for exercise, I need to go for do this, I need to do this, I need to make supper. I mean, I have a husband who is beyond amazing. He's super helpful. But he's also traditional in certain values.
Yes.
He needs supper at a certain time. I don't know what's wrong with you, man. You know? But like, I mean, the one thing I know is that he'll help me. Like he's very helpful in that sense. But he also has certain things. The kids, need to be bathed at this time. But one of the things he allows is that get the help you need. Like if you need to get the help you need to kind of make sure that these things happen.
That's more important than anything else, because if your cup's not full, how can you feed anyone else? Literally and figuratively.
Absolutely. But also I think you need somebody who can understand when you're going through something emotionally, and somebody who, when you're saying something, is listening to what you're saying triggers you and then takes it in. Because I went through, my dad he's always had his own business.
Okay.
And the one thing he taught me, and I think that's also why like I love having my own business, is that he's like, just go for everything. Go for the opportunity. See how it goes. Say yes first. Figure it out afterwards. But like within your certain realm, don't go say yes for everything. Like if you don't know how to do certain things.
Boundaries.
So one of the things he's always taught me is like, if you've got your business, like you work hard and you push hard. Like me, I can go till midnight. Okay. Whereas MK, he'll be like, no, listen, 5 o'clock came. Like, and I'm not that kind of person, because my dad didn't teach me that. He taught me like, you push really hard for your business. So sometimes I'd be like busy doing deliveries at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and my husband would be like, hey, the kids are not bathed like this. And I'm like, okay, but they'll get bathed. But he says, but I need you to be home. You need to be home. You need to be home before Maghrib. And it started giving me anxiety.
Okay.
Because I knew that, and now, even when he didn't say that, it would be in my head, like, oh my God, I need to be home. I have to be home before Maghrib, because I need to be there. I need to be there because he's going to freak out and whatever. And, one day, because I used to start getting anxiety attacks because of it. And one day I just told him, I said, you're giving me anxiety. And I explained it to him. I said, I'm starting to shake because I'm doing this. Because I'm trying to get home, because I know you're going to freak out. And I didn't know if he actually listened to me until a couple of weeks ago. We were busy doing something, and he could see I was getting anxious, because it wasn't a situation where I needed to rush home. Okay. But I was with him, and I was getting anxious because I needed to do a few things at a time. And he said, baby, I'm trying not to give you anxiety. I thought to myself, he listened to what I was saying. And that's important in a partner, because he actually listened to what my triggers were. And even though it took time, he's noticing when I'm starting to get triggered, and he's trying to calm me and go, it's okay. It's okay.
That's such an important point.
And that helps me a lot.
Because
it helps me a lot.
There's so many people that find the triggers in their partner, and when they want to prove their partner wrong, they turn to those triggers and they try and trigger their partner in a way where, okay, you know what? I'm going to trigger you. You're going to scream. You're going to look like the one who's wrong. You're going to lose it. I'm going to sit back even though I was wrong initially. And over time, resentment just builds up. And resentment builds up.
Absolutely.
And we don't even know what's happening. Like you said, it happened to you, and then the anxiety just automatically went inside of you, where you started shaking. And and it's so important that communication is key. Yes.
Because I wasn't communicating with him yet.
But comprehension is more important than communication, because in comprehension, we can actually understand what our partner is trying to tell us. It's such a valuable lesson for the listeners to see.
He understood it, and now he recognizes when he can see when I'm being triggered before I'm even before I'm full blown into it. And he tries to help me through it. And I think that's so important, because a lot of times we are the ones who have to be, we have to capture everything, and we have to be the most put together in everything. But like this, we can both talk about it, because we almost taught to like take the criticism, listen to what your husband doesn't like about you and fix it.
Yes.
We have to fix ourselves to do that. But I think what is nice is that we were both able to say, because he can tell me, when you do this, I don't like it. And I can say, when you do this, I don't like it. And we could both go, okay.
Wow.
Whereas a lot of the time, like I've grown up in a household where you can't tell your husband that. You can't tell him that you're doing something. You can't do that.
As a male, we had a show previously about male vulnerability. And how difficult it is for us to actually just let our emotions out with our partner, because our whole life we've been told be a big boy and don't cry, right? And it becomes so difficult. So as men, we don't even understand that we have the capabilities of being vulnerable with our partner, because in our vulnerability, it allows them to share a lot more with us because we don't have this hard exterior up. So a lot of men don't understand it. And then a lot of women as well, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of women also don't allow their men to be vulnerable, because what happens is, listen, don't be a sissy. You're the man of the house. Be the man. We need you to be strong. But everyone is going through such difficult mental issues. Each one of us is fighting these battles within us to try and make the next person happy, to try and make the kids happy, to try and make our partners happy, to try and please our parents, of course, and to try and please Allah as well. But it becomes so difficult for us to say to our partner, listen, I'm vulnerable at the moment. You have to understand, I'm going through a difficult time. I'm getting anxiety. And it's so pleasing to hear from a woman's point of view that yes, okay,
he was
you know
open
what?
to hearing
Everyone is going through it.
And I think that also, like, in that sense, what we don't understand is that when you're in a relationship of any sort, it's about balance. It's about how you're balancing that sort of thing. And I think it's important to be open to listening and to be open to responding in a way that like goes, well, how can we work together in order to do this? So you have to allow for him to be vulnerable if you want to be vulnerable. And just because he's vulnerable doesn't mean you only have to be the strong one.
Yes.
And one of the other things, I mean, we can talk about it after the break if you want.
Yes, we will definitely.
It's about how a man supports you in what you're doing. And that's been big for me. I think that's pretty huge.
Wow. That's some brilliant relationship advice. I'm sure our viewers are really taking out of this relationship advice, but we'll see you after the break and we'll continue how important it is to support your partner. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Moetivation. Fems, you were telling me the importance of a partner's support when you are busy and you're trying to build this brand, which you're doing phenomenally well. How important is that support?
So I think I think that, like I said, like a balance is so important because nothing comes, like you said, it took me, 32 years to be an overnight. I still don't build every success, but to be somewhere. Because there's so many places to still go. But I think that if everybody understands a journey, one of the things that we've grown up to believe is that our job is to be that support, to be that model of complete support to our husband no matter what happens. Because traditionally that was how it was, right? So traditionally homes were financially supported by men, but technically run by women on their grocery budgets or whatever. But like the man is the head of the household. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with certain parts of the traditional way of stuff. I think it's nice to be supported by a husband and nice to be the support that's there. And you're right, we should be the emotional support and all of that, absolutely. But the reality is nowadays, households have both parents working. They have those things all the time. We went through a transition where MK didn't have a job, and I supported him through that because I was the only person who had a job. And we'd started small businesses and they failed dismally. And it comes to that point where you fail so dismally that I had already then depleted all my savings accounts. And it's interesting because we come from two different backgrounds. MK grew up in a home where savings wasn't a thing. Okay. And I grew up in a home where savings was a thing. You always saved for a rainy day. But like when I got married, every time we'd gone through something, I was like I depleted every savings account I had. But we got to a point where through that, having started, I think it was 3 businesses, and they all sort of failed, some slowly and some monumentally, right? Is that what you do is you dip into your savings, you start using one credit card to pay another credit card. And we went through a really tough time through that. And so we got to a point where we just went, let's just like get rid of all the debt. We spoke to my dad. I sold some of my jewelry. We got the money in. We paid off every credit card and we chopped it. I don't want a credit card in my life. I've gotten rid of it all. It also just recenters you towards Allah. Like, what do you want to do? You always want to earn halal. You always want to be in a position where Allah is happy with you, inshallah. And may He always be happy with us. But like, you want to be in a position that you are working towards making Him happy, right? And that everything that we're doing, we are earning halal rosy. So we cut all that down. We moved into a place where we could rent, which was much cheaper. I was traveling from Lanes to Pretoria every day to my job. And I was still doing like mocktails classes and all of those things. And I can tell you one thing, while he didn't have a job, he did everything to support me in everything that I could do. And I thought, holy moly, this is exactly what we are taught to do for our husbands.
Yes.
My husband is doing for me.
Yeah.
Every time I have a business idea, I go with it because he supports me. And
Wow.
he doesn't go, that's your little side business. I don't know if it's going to get anywhere. And he got a job. I mean, after we had our first kid, Alhamdulillah, he got a job about 2 months later. And it's true what Allah says, the barakah comes when the babies come. Allah said, I cannot, like in a million years, I know the only person to thank for everything that we've gotten has been Allah. You make a dua, Allah will send it to you. He may take 6 years to send you a baby, but
like you said, all at the time when you're supposed to.
If he had sent me a baby any time before that, it would have been in the thick of our hardest times, of our most our most dismal businesses. Everything went belly up. It would have been the wrong time.
Wow.
He just did it at the right time. And then this job came through just at the right time. And then never at that time, even when he had his job, did he ever go, this is just some side business of yours. Never. When I even came to him and I was like, this halal goods market thing, like this, I need to do this halal thing because I'm into food. This is my thing. I post about food online. I started this Fehm's mocktails. I mean, Fehm's mocktails, I never had bottles on a shelf in a shop ever. And somebody asked me once, like, what's your dream? And I said, my dream is to have a bottle on a shelf somewhere that says Fehm's mocktails. And a friend of mine went, the minute you bottle, I want it on my store shelf. And
visualize, verbalize, materialize, right?
And make dua.
Yeah, that's it.
Allah does that. Allah does it. Wallahi, I don't believe that anything happens without Allah. You have to be motivated. Motivation. You have to be motivated and you have to work hard for it. You have to work hard for it. You can't just make dua and go.
I always speak about it. If you align your head, you align your heart, and you align it with your actions, Allah will take your sincerity, He will sponsor it and take you to the four corners of the globe.
You work hard, you do it, you say it, you push it, you grow, you do all of that stuff. But you wake up every day and say, Allah, please send me more business. Allah, please send me an order. Allah, please send me this. My life coach taught me this also. She said, when you wake up, if you feel like today you didn't have enough orders in your business, make dua to Allah. Wow. Before you tell your husband, oh my God, I'm so stressed. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I haven't got an order today. Before you say anything, talk to Allah. Wow. Ask Allah, say, Allah, send me one order today that will just help me, like pull me through the week. Or do all of those things.
I mean, you've given us so much pieces of advice in terms of relationship, in terms of business, in terms of dealing with your inner child as well. This has been such an incredible conversation. And I really just want to acknowledge you for the person that you are, for the individual that you bring to the world, the joy you bring into everyone, the way you tantalize our taste buds at Halal Goods Market in with
Halal Goods Market is coming back soon.
When is it coming back? Just by the way, the date?
Inshallah, 2 to 4 December.
Inshallah, we will definitely be looking forward to that. But I really do want to acknowledge you for everything that you've done and everything that you've been through and the message that you've given to our audience today.
Like when you have these businesses, it becomes something that you both do. Like make it something that you both really become proud of, I
want to come to the last question of the show, the question that all my guests really love and the viewers love to hear it as well. It's a hypothetical question. Many years from now, Fehms has had however many halal goods markets that she's wanted to have, books she's wanted to written, new flavors of mocktails and many other things that you've created, even books that you might have written, right? And you come into the last day of your life. But for some reason, hypothetically speaking, it all has to be erased. This interview, everything you've ever done, your social media, everything you've put out to the world.
Social media is fleeting.
Everything's gone. But you have 3 pieces of advice that you can leave the world with. What would Fehm's 3 pieces of advice for the world be?
I think it's big to be, have I pleased Allah? Like, as the things I do, will they get the displeasure of Allah? Like, will Allah be happy with all the things I've done? I think that's super important because it's where we ground it too. And I think the other thing would be like, am I happy with me? Am I okay with me? Am I happy with where I am? And I don't know, did I raise my kids well? Yeah, like, are they Allah fearing? Are they Are they happy? Are they okay with them? Because that's what I went through.
Yes.
And I think that's, for me, I think a big thing is that I'm scared of raising my children to be as scared as I was of myself.
Yes, yes.
I don't want them to be scared of themselves. And I think that's big.
That is big.
If Allah is happy with me, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
I know.
Everything in life is fleeting. Tomorrow there can be no social media. Like, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, how many followers? I'm like, I don't care. Like, tomorrow there's going to be no Instagram. Tomorrow Instagram dies. I have to be happy with me. I have to be happy with the things I'm doing, with how I am, and with how I feel about me. And I think that's so important. Like, what other people are doing doesn't matter. Like, and when you're in
What
school,
other people think about you doesn't matter.
It's so hard to say what other people think about you doesn't matter, but it really doesn't.
It doesn't.
It really doesn't. There's only one person that you're meant to please, and that's Allah.
You know, in truth, just before we end the show, what other people think about you is their own trauma. It's just a reflection of themselves. And I need our viewers to also understand that.
Yeah. But and you know what else I want to say is, I think we need to learn to accept a compliment, to say thank you, and go, wow, somebody believes that in me. And it's not arrogant to say, you know,
I am enough.
Or like, I'm proud of what I've just done, or wow, I did this thing. It's okay to go, wow, I did this thing, and people like it. Like, wow, like sometimes I do think that, like, I think, is it unfair of me to think like, wow, I have something to be proud of? Because we almost taught to be like, it's so arrogant to go, oh my gosh, you've got a brand that's on a shelf, and like, why are you so like full of yourself, or why should I support you? You're like already there. But it's okay to accept a compliment.
Wow, Fems, thank you so much for your unbelievable wisdom. It's been an amazing show. I know my viewers out there has loved the show. It's been incredible. And in the wisdom of what Fehmida has told us, you are enough, you are beautiful, and you are all that you need. This is motivation, and let me motivate you.